Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari. It's okay. That's just yesterday's. Jasoranandana Braja Janaranjana. Jasoranandana Braja Janaranjana. Jamunatira Banachari. Jamunatira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari. Jasoranandana Brajanaranjana. Jasoranandana Brajanaranjana. Jasoranandana Brajanaranjana. Jamunatira Vanachari. Jamunatira Vanachari. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Sri Radha Madhava ki, Sri Radha Giridhari ki. Jai Om Vishnu Bhar Paramhamsa Parivrajika Jaja Shudrisi Srimad is Divine Grace of Ai Charanara Vinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhu Bhari ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnu Bhar Paramhamsa Parivrajika Jaja Shudrisi Srimad is Divine Grace. Srila Bhakti Saranta Saraswati Gosam Maharaj Bhubari ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrindi ki Jai. Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai. Samavira Bhakti ki Jai. Gaura Premanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories, assembled devotees. All glories, all glories. Ceasing Guru and Sri Gauram. So this morning, reading from the srimadbhagavatam, 4th canto, 6th chapter, verse 48. What's the title of this chapter? Who? Lord Brahma satisfies Lord Shiva. Okay. Here's a technical question, spiritual technical question. If on your phone or different devices you have the scriptures, does that become like the scriptures, so it shouldn't be put on the floor or anything like that. Yes, that means you have not just a smartphone, but a holy phone. So that's it. You can't bring it in the bathroom. You can't. It's in there. It's like closing the cover of the book. Inside that device is. If you're, unless you're, what can you do? You're out and about traveling or something like that. But up here, something like that, where you can leave it out. You should leave it out. What can you do if you're traveling or something? You're not going to just set your phone on the. Yeah, just hey, anyone wants to steal this? I'm going to the bathroom. Not like that. So you have to be practical, just like the beads or. Yeah. But understand, it's like it is not like it is carrying all the books. That'd be a big bag, wouldn't it? All the books. So it's all shrunk down. So. Okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritram Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jamudiriyat. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Yeah. Okay. Yasmin yada pushkaranabhyamayaya durantaya sprishta diya pritagdrisha kurvanti tatra hyanukampaya kritam pam nasadavo daiva balatkrite kramam Yasmin yada pushkaranabhyamayaya durantaya sprishta diya pritagdrisha kurvanti tatra hyanukampaya kripam nasadavo daiva balatkrite kramam Yasmin yada pushkaranabhyamayaya durantaya sprishta diya pritagdrisha kurvanti tatra hyanukampaya kripam nasadavo daiva balatkrite kramam. Anyone like to chant? Yasmin yada pushkaranabhyamayaya Yasmin yada pushkaranabhyamayaya durantaya sprishta diya pritagdrisha kurvanti tatra hyanukampaya kripam nasadavo daiva balatkrite kramam. Yasmin yada pushkaranabhyamayaya durantaya sprishta diya pritagdrisha What is that Latin? Seize the day, carpe diem. And so it's like carpe verse. Just seize the verse, chant. Don't wait. Yasmin yada pushkaranabhyamayaya Durandaya Svishnadaya Pritagdirja Vanti Tatrayanu Kampaya Kripam Sadhavo Naiva Bhakti Kramam Yasmin Yada Pushkaranabhya Maya Durandaya Spishnadaya Pritagdirja Tatrayanu Kampakitam Nazadavo Daiva Balat Krite Kramam Pratya Prishtadaya Pritagdirja Kurvandi Tatra Kripam Nasado Bhavat Kripam Yasmin, in some place, Yada, when, Pushkaranabha Mayaya, by the illusory energy of Pushkaranabha, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Durantya, insurmountable. Sprishta, Diya, bewildered. Pritak Drisha, the same persons who see differently. Kurvanti, do. Tatra, there. He, certainly. Anukampaya, out of compassion. Kripam, mercy. Na, never. Sadhavaha, saintly persons. Daiva Balat, by providence. Krite, being done. Kramam, prowess. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. My dear Lord, if in some places materialists who are already bewildered by the insurmountable illusory energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead sometimes commit offenses, a saintly person with compassion does not take this seriously, knowing that they commit offenses because they are overpowered by the illusory energy. He does not show his prowess to counteract them. Please repeat. My dear Lord, if in some places materialists who are already bewildered by the insurmountable illusory energy of the Supreme Godhead sometimes commit offenses. I think all the time, but sometimes it's really bad. Okay. A saintly person with compassion does not take this seriously, knowing that they commit offenses because they're overpowered by the illusory energy. He does not show his prowess to counteract them. This is a very good lesson. Purport. It is said that the beauty of a tapasvi, or a saintly person, is forgiveness. There are many instances in the spiritual history of the world in which many saintly persons, although unnecessarily harassed, did not take action, although they could have done so. Parikshit Maharaj, for example, was unnecessarily cursed by a Brahmana boy, and this was very much regretted by the boy's father, but Parikshit Maharaj accepted the curse and agreed to die within a week, as the Brahmana boy desired. Parikshit Maharaj was the emperor and was full in power both spiritually and materially, but out of compassion and out of respect for the Brahmana community, he did not counteract the action of the Brahmin boy, but agreed to die within 7 days. Because it was desired by Krishna that Parikshit Maharaj agreed to the punishment so that the instruction of srimadbhagavatam would thus be revealed to the world, Parikshit Maharaj was advised not to take action. The Vaishnava is personally tolerant for the benefit of others. When he does not show his prowess, this does not mean that he is lacking in strength. Rather, it indicates that he is tolerant for the welfare of the entire human society. Om Agyantimirandasya Gananjana Salakaya Chaksulinvinitam Dena Taismai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Shri Gaur Bhakti Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Banjagalpadurubhascha Kripasindubheva Patidanam Bhavanibhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha. Do I have your permission to try to say a few words? Usually, thank you, usually, Dr. Zach, you're right there. What happened? Now that he's put on saffron, he's front, he's the one who sits in front. You okay? You're right there. Okay. What is that verse? Tatikshava Kurunika Suridam Prabhutanam. That verse by Lord Kapila Dev. A sadhava, a saintly person, in fact that's here in the verse, right? Sadhava. A saintly person, or says tapasvi, the beauty of such a person is his forgiveness, compassion. These are the qualities of a devotee that Tatikshava means tolerant, because this material world is always something, there's always some kind of disturbance, and especially in the service of the Lord, because we're going against the current. Did you experience that yet? We're going against the current, right? Current's going that way, and we're swimming upstream. You ever try to swim upstream or against the current? Other than Ganga? Like that, you float trying to get back up. So it's not so easy. When you're swimming or moving against the current, it's difficult. What is that? Go with the flow? Is that still a saying, or is that back? Go with the flow. Well, where's the flow going? First find that out. Like that. Yes, Brahmananda Maharaj told us, Mahaprabhu told the story that, well actually Shruti Kirti told the story. Brahmananda was in it. They were in India somewhere, and they were, the flu? What do you call it? Flu. It's like, they carry one water, like an aqueduct kind of a thing. They call it what's it called? A flute? No, it's like a semicircle kind of a long tube where they carry water maybe for many miles from one place to the other, like an aqueduct or something like that. What they call it when it's up on stilts and so on. Anyways, they were going to go swimming, and Brahmananda jumped in. Well, they didn't realize that just down the ways there was like a big waterfall. Right? And he was starting to yell because he saw, Haribo! And the boys were running to catch him and get him out of the water, and they got him just in time before he went over the waterfall. So before you jump in, find out which way the water's going, like that, in the direction. So the point being is that we are moving in a different direction. So complicating the difficulties of this material world is not only the ordinary suffering, but when you're trying to go against the current, there's also so many disturbances also. So the very nature of this material world is disturbances. So devotee is tatikshava, which means he's very, very tolerant. There's another example Prabhupada gave that devotee was with devotees on the airplane. I don't think, I forget who told this story. It might have been Hari Sari, because it was, they were on some airplane, and there was some soccer team on the airplane too. And they probably just won the tournament or something like that. So you can imagine how rowdy all these young guys are. Rowdy. And I think they were smoking, because back then, you could smoke on the airplane. Has anyone ever been on an airplane where they're smoking? Maybe overseas they still have it or something like that. It was crazy. You got on an airplane, remember that? And the back rows would be for smoking. But it didn't matter where you sat on the airplane, there was cigarette smoke. It was like that. So anyways, all this commotion, and the devotees getting really upset on behalf of Prabhupada. So he said, I'll get up and I'll tell these guys to quiet down. So he asked the stewardess to ask the guys to quiet down, because they're all probably drinking too. Drinking and all that. They just won the tournament or something somewhere. All this noise. So he told us. So the stewardess went and asked them to quiet down. So they quieted down for less than a minute. Then it started up again. And Prabhupada could see the devotee was all upset, and the devotee was going to get up himself and say something. Prabhupada told him to sit down. He said, if you can't tolerate this, what's the difference between us and them? Right? What's the difference? So devotee is the teacher. He's very, very tolerant. Wants to be very, very tolerant. Understanding that pretty much every single living entity, except for those who are very, very elevated, are being are moving, being pushed by the modes of material nature. What can you do? What can you do? So, good story there. And the history which is given here is the history of Maharaj Parikshit, who was the grandson of Arjuna. And that was the ushering in the age of Kali. And he met the personality of Kali. You know that? He went out and he actually met the personality of Kali, who was trying to enter into his kingdom under his rule. And he chastised him severely and told him, you have to leave, because you're irreligion personified. It's the age of Kali. And in my kingdom, I don't allow any of that. And actually, at first he was going to kill him. He said, oh, no, don't kill me. Please don't kill me. I take shelter of your feet. So a king, when someone takes shelter of you, has to forgive them, not kill them. They can do something else. There can be some punishment, some kind of punishment. You can't kill someone who takes shelter of you. And, I surrender. No, okay, that's Kshatriya law, right? When someone, this is a battle going on, or if someone surrenders, gets the white flag out or whatever, you have to accept that and not kill them. So he said, I have to have some place to reside. You're the king of the whole world. You got to give me some place to reside, right? So, well, okay. I'll give you wherever gold is hoarded. You can move to Las Vegas, like that. Right? Wherever gold is hoarded, you can stay there. So Kali left. And it's interesting. We're talking about different natures here, right? People cannot help themselves. You know the story of the scorpion and the camel? You know that story? Scorpion and the camel? So anyways, it's flooding time, right? And the river is really flooded very bad. So there's a camel there at the edge of the river, thinking, how am I going to get across this? I guess I can try it. And all of a sudden the scorpion shows up. The scorpion says, hey, there's no way I can get across this river. Maybe I could hop on. You give me a ride across the river, you got a big hump there, I'll just get on top, and you can kind of swim and walk, and we'll make it across together. How's that? And the camel said, no way. What do you mean no way? He said, you're a scorpion, you'll bite me. He said, no, I won't bite you. He said, you'll bite me. He said, no, I won't bite you. So why would I bite you? If I bite you halfway across the river, then we both drown. So why would I bite you? The camel said, that makes sense. So get on top. So sure enough, gets on top, starts going across the river, swimming. He's about halfway there, and guess what happens? The scorpion bites the camel. He said, no! So why'd you do that? Now we're both going to drown. He said, I couldn't help myself. It's my nature. I got to bite something. And they both drowned. So different natures are there. I just broke the microphone, right? There we go. So the reason I want to bring this up is an interesting thing in the story of Maharaj Parikshit. Maharaj Parikshit was a devotee. He was so compassionate and kind that here's Kali himself, right? Kali himself, which is the embodiment of all nonsense and sinful activities, the age of Kali, he forgives him. And he even gives him a place of residence in his own kingdom. Who's the first person the personality of Kali decides to attack? The king, Maharaj Parikshit. It's his nature. The very person who forgave him, could have killed him, had his sword out, right? Because he saw he was attacking the bull and the cow and so on. Could have killed him right there. But he took shelter. So, but it shows the person, his nature. So the very first person he's thinking, let me get rid of this Maharaj Parikshit. So how does he do it? It's described here. The Maharaj Parikshit is out hunting, or in the forest, very, very thirsty, and he comes to the ashram of Samika. Is it Samika? Muni, very, very powerful sage who's in trance. And he comes to the ashram. It's the king, the emperor of the world, a great devotee, because the yogi's in trance, he's out of external consciousness. So the king would like some water or something. When a guest comes, you have to do something. You should give them a little prasad, some sweet words. Nothing. So he was so exhausted, so overcome. This is, of course, Krishna's arrangement, because this is not his character. He said, okay, That's where you want to be. And he started to leave, and he noticed this dead snake on the trail right by his hut. So he took this dead snake with the end of his bow and just wrapped around his neck and left. So the king comes out, the yogi comes out of his trance, and his boy is there, Shringi, right? And what's all this about? And the word got out it was the king, Maharaj Parikshit. And Shringi was so upset that his father was offended because of, we're the Brahmins, we're the sages, what is this king? They're just passionate Kshatriyas. So disrespectful to my father. Well, I'm gonna teach him a lesson. And he cursed him to die in 7 days. So Kali Yuga entered through the Brahmins, right? Because he should never have cursed them. And actually, when the father, Smriti Rishi, heard that his son had done that, he was very, very sad. And I think he even went to the palace to explain what was happening. Maybe he took his son by the ear. You ever get in trouble, your parents bring you by the ear. Okay, you go and apologize to this person. And Maharaj Parikshit just accepted it as a will of the Lord, because he could understand that this was Krishna's arrangement. So this is one example that even though he had the power to counteract the curse, he didn't do it. So this is being brought up because of what just happened in this chapter, and this few chapters here with Lord Shiva, and retaliating and so on, back and forth. And the point is, when someone is offended, even if they have the ability to fight back or counteract it, the advice is given that you simply tolerate. I mean, there are different instances we can discuss and so on, but the basic principle is people will always be offensive, right? There's always people offending other people. That's just the nature of this world. But a devotee's different. They just see the material nature acting, and they're very, very compassionate. They're very, very tolerant of these things. I remember one devotee, he used to be a doctor or a medical school before he joined the movement many years ago, and he gave the example in medical school. Sometimes he was making the rounds, and sometimes once one patient was in so much pain that he was pushing this and that and examining him, and the person spit in his face out of pain. Don't touch me. You spit at him. So what's the doctor supposed to do? Well, that's the way you want to be. That was just going to turn this life support off. No, no. He could just wipe, and he could understand. And then later on, when that patient recovered, he apologized. But in such extreme pain, that was his reaction. He spit at the doctor like that because he was hurting him. So that's a very poignant example that the material nature is modes of ignorance and passion are pushing people. Remember that at BTG, and actually it used to be in an old Bhagavad Gita, the modes of material nature, and up above it was like puppets. Remember that? The puppets? The strings, like the 3 modes. Someone's being, manipulated in goodness, someone in passion, ignorance. That's what's happening. The jiva is just being pushed by the modes of material nature. That's what's going on. And a sadhu is supposed to be above all of that, and you can see that going on. So he's not so disturbed. If there's some type of offenses are being committed to them personally. When some offenses are being committed to someone else, that's something else. That's another thing. One can become just like fire. One does not tolerate offenses against the Lord, the spiritual master, Vaishnavas, and living entities in general, right? One is very compassionate. One may step in to protect someone, to help someone. That's just natural. But against one's own person, one is very, 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 very tolerant, understanding. Another thing that's being understood is what? I deserve this. I won't go on that tangent, but I'll tell you an interesting quote I just heard from Anuttama. He was giving a class. He said, how sometimes you're preaching in the West and you meet a fanatical Christian, right? Sometimes that happens. He goes, I figure it's my karma, because for many years I was a fanatical Hare Krishna preaching. So just like I would, so he said, I figure it's just my karma. It doesn't bother me. It's just my karma, because for so many years I was a fanatical Hare Krishna, and I was, how I was preaching. So sometimes they're overzealous. There's one expression that's sometimes called a crispy Christians. Sometimes the Christians have that expression. I don't know if you heard that. They call themselves, if they're overzealous, they call themselves crispy Christians. Okay, you ever heard that one? Yeah, that's interesting. They say that, like that, in their own, amongst their own group. If some people are a little bit over the top, they call them crispy Christians. They need to calm down a little bit. It's not good to be that overzealous. So anyways, the point being, where was the point anyways? Where was I going with this? We deserve, yeah, so the point is, whatever happens to us, any type of inconvenience or whatever, ultimately it's us. It's our own karma. And whoever is bringing that to us, they're just a messenger. Oh, do you remember last lifetime? Oh, do you remember last week? Oh, do you remember 10 lifetimes ago? Do you remember 100 lifetimes ago? You did this, and now it's coming back to you. Krishna gave me this package. Here it is. So that's one reason the devotee is very, very tolerant. It's just the messenger. When someone comes, good or bad, they're just messengers. They're just bringing something, happiness and distress into my life, which I ordered sometime in the past by my actions. Therefore, they're not disturbed. How can you be disturbed? You know what they say? Don't shoot the messenger. You ever hear that expression? So, don't shoot the messenger. Was it Hanuman, when he was captured into the court, right? Brought before Ravana. He destroyed the destroyed the whole garden, killed one of his sons, killed many of his generals. Anyways, he was brought there. What to do? And Ravana said, and then he stood up in front of Ravana and said, Ravana, you're an idiot. You're a fool. You kidnapped Sita. You're going to be finished. It's the end. Just like right in front of him. So Ravana is very upset. Here's this monkey that just, devastated his favorite garden, killed his own son, killed so many of his generals, thousands of his soldiers, and now he's insulting me to my face. He's just a monkey. Well, what do you think we should do? Let's kill him. But someone stood up in his defense. Who was that? Vibhishan said, you can't kill a messenger. You're right. Even Ravana accepted that. You can't kill a messenger. He just came. He said, I have a message for you from Ram. And by the way, I was just in the garden, and you people attacked me first, so it was just self-defense. Okay, it was self-defense. And I just came here with a message from Ram. And he said, here's the message. And he insulted him and told him what Ram told him to tell him. More or less, return Sita or you're finished. Does everyone know Sita here? Does anyone know her? Whenever you see her, you should offer all respects to her. Okay, she's a very nice devotee. So anyways, I said, no, you can't kill the messenger. But you can do something to teach them a lesson. So what did they do? They wrapped up his tail in cloth and stuck it in some oil and lit it on fire. And of course, Hanuman thought, excellent opportunity for some more service. So he broke his bonds and just jumped up and started burning. Half the city of Lanka was burned, and he jumped back to Lord Ramachandra there. So the point is, people, whatever happens, it's a messenger. It's a messenger of my past karma. A devotee sees it because he understands Krishna's in charge of my karma. It's a messenger from Krishna. Krishna's trying to show me, tell me something. What's he trying to tell me here? So the point is that the voice, that voice of conscience, that voice of intelligence, of Krishna consciousness, sometimes it's covered. There's too much static. You try to tune a radio or something, and there's too much static. You don't get the whole channel right there. It's a little bit. So what's that static that makes us so we can't hear that voice of conscience and intelligence? Offenses? Yeah, the modes of material nature. Those darn modes of material nature. You have to fine-tune. That's what the goodness is. Sattva gun is pretty much you get a clear channel. The sattva gun is you like right there, like high definition. What do they call sound when it's like perfect? High quality, HQ. You get high definition, high quality. It's just you could shut your eyes and you're right there, right? So those lower modes of nature. You can't hear things. They filter everything like that. You get in the way. So that's why the struggle is there to rise to the mode of goodness. And all of a sudden you start hearing voices. Krishna's voice, spiritual master's voice, your conscience, right? That's the yogis are trying to hear Krishna in the heart. I just heard a wonderful story. We'll end with this story. I just heard it yesterday. Sethji is his name. In Bombay, remember? Mr. Sethji. Very powerful, wonderful devotee. Really helped the Bombay temple in many, many different ways. He was, I think, from Punjab. Big guy. And there's one story. Here's a story from his younger days to show you what a powerful personality he was. I think Sridhar Maharaj told this story that he was walking somewhere and some gundas came, some thugs, to beat him up or something like that. And there are like 5 or 6 of them. So he pulls out his sword. He pulls out his sword and he lops off one of their heads. Boom. And he said, "Who's next?" They all ran away. So it's a pretty powerful personality. So anyways, he was the one when they attacked the little temple in Bombay. You know, Mr. Nair and all his people came. He got out there. He told his son, "You grab one gun, I'll grab another." And they stood there and they stopped like that. And they rebuilt it. They helped rebuild it and so on and so on. Anyways, this is the story that he became very, very ill. Prabhu was in Bombay. He became very ill. What happens? Prabhu got in the car with Giriraj Maharaj and this and that. And somehow or other, maybe Prabhupada asked where Sethji was and all that, and Giriraj Maharaj said, he's very, very ill. So Prabhupada said, cancel the engagement. It was a very important engagement. Prabhupada said, cancel the engagement, we're going to go see him. So they went to his apartment, and he was there. He was in bed. He was very, very pale and didn't look good at all. He had some kind of machine. It was a respirator or something like that. And Prabhupada said, "What's happening?" And Prabhupada said, "This machine here," they said, "if I don't use it, I'll die in a few minutes." Prabhupada said, "Throw it out the window." He said, "But they said if I don't use it, I'll die within a few minutes." Prabhupada said, "Throw it out the window." So he threw it out the window. And Prabhupada sat there about 2 hours just preaching about Bhagavad Gita, about the soul and this, that, and the other thing and what have you. And he was fine. And he recovered. Okay? So the story is later on, and he actually outlived Srila Prabhupada. He lived into the 90s. I don't know if that meant the 90s or into his 90s, but he outlived Prabhupada. You know, I guess in the 90s, about 20 years older than he lived, almost would be almost 100 or something. So Prabhupada was telling the Giriraj Maharaj or someone, because Sridhar Maharaj was telling the story in Bombay, that Prabhupada had an argument with Krishna. Krishna told him he was supposed to go. He's supposed to go at this time. Prabhupada said, "No, I want him to stay." And Prabhupada's talking to Krishna. And he said, "No, I want him to stay." He said, "This is his time." And then Krishna relented. Said, "Okay." And Prabhupada said, "I had a strong argument with Krishna." That's what he told Giriraj Maharaj. I had a very strong argument with Krishna to save this devotee. They're arguing back and forth, Krishna and Prabhupada, about this devotee dying or not dying. So the point is hearing voices. That's what the point I want to make is one becomes purified, and we start hearing voices. Krishna's voice. We don't hear it now. Krishna's talking to us right now. We're just like, nah, I don't know. I don't get that channel. I don't get the Krishna channel. I get the Tamagun channel really clear. I get that Rajagun channel really clear. Sometimes I can get a little bit of mode of goodness channel, this channel. But the Krishna channel, I don't know, maybe I'm not paying my bill. I don't know what's going on. I haven't got that channel in millions of lifetimes. But that channel's there as one becomes purified. One gets that, and one cancels his subscription to the Rajagun and Tamagun channels. These channels are useless. I don't like these channels anymore. They do me. So anyways, that's a nice story to end the class on. Are there any questions or comments? Anything at all? This is a very important daily, day-to-day, moment-to-moment principle we have to learn to live by, because at every moment there's going to be a disturbance. Maybe you're disturbed by my class, right? And you got to think, well, I could say something to him, but maybe I won't. I don't know. But every moment there's some kind of disturbance. So how does a devotee respond? We have to respond in a different way. Otherwise, what's the difference between us and everyone else? What does it mean to be a devotee? Like that. Yes, Prabhu. 6 kinds of aggressors. Curse him with his Brahman thread and he'll drop dead. Prabhupada said, if he gave the example, if you're coming to kill me, I'll stand behind the door with a brick and hit you on the head when you come in. So the point is you have to be intelligent. The body belongs to Krishna, it's Krishna's property. And just in general, just a general social intercourse. If someone is hurting someone else, you do something about it, let alone yourself. I mean, it's not that I'm so spiritual that I just walk by and people are beating each other up and burning. You're a human being, you're intelligent. It's a social intercourse. I could tell you some stories, Prabhu, from the old days. Yes, sirree, Bob. I could tell you a few stories. Yudhisthira could tell you a lot of stories. You got a few hours. You just have to be... You got some time, right? You know the story in the Puranas about the thieves that go into this ashram. No, what happens is this yogi is there. This Krishna tells this story to make a point. It's in the Mahabharata about, justice and so on, and ethics. So anyways, the yogi's sitting there. All of a sudden, this family is running for their life, and they come into the ashram. And they're being chased by some dacoits who are not only going to rob them, but kill them. So they say, can we hide here? And they go hide in the ashram. And all the thieves show up. Then, those people, have you seen them? Have you seen them? And the yogi always tells the truth. He goes, oh yeah, they're over there in my ashram. And the dacoits go in there and kill him. That yogi went to hell. All right? So the point is, in different situations, you protect people. You can lie. You can do all kinds of things. The situation is there. So you protect yourself, protect others. You may lie, you may cheat, whatever it is, because there's different levels of ethics. But mostly this is referring to is if there's an offense against us, because they don't like Lord Shiva. Daksha offended him. In due course of time, the Supreme Personality of Godhead will take care of everything, so we don't have to exert our own prowess to make everything right. Right? So that's what happens. Someone offends us and then we think, well, let me show them. There's justice. I should be the one to settle everything. You shouldn't have that mentality. Like that. Just better to just be tolerant, so on. There's that story with both Prabhupada and Srila Bhaktisiddhanta at different times in giving lectures and someone standing up and yelling. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta was somewhere. Do you know where that was? And this person kept coming every day. And actually very offensive questions and yelling and making all these points and so on. And then he passed away. Because Srila Bhaktisiddhanta said, where is he? His disciples, he passed away. And he was actually emotionally moved by that. He said, what happened to him? And his disciples said, why are you so upset? He was so offensive to you and so on. Like that. And he was just feeling compassion for that soul. And Prabhupada once said, happened to Prabhupada, and Prabhupada, the person didn't come, and Prabhupada said, I must have offended that person in my previous life. That's how Prabhupada saw it. Not like, about time to get rid of that guy. I was wondering, you're going to bounce him out of here? Like that? No. So that's the mood of a great devotee. A devotee is very, very peaceful and calm and tolerant, like that, and compassionate. Any question? Yes. On that happy note, and don't go out killing anyone today, Prabhu. Just distribute books, okay? Just demonic mentality, okay? So we can end here. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, srimadbhagavatam.